Hey guys, George Roddy. Okay, this is a contract that Tim and I want you to use when you uncover an REO property. And REO stands for real estate owned. Tim and I, part of the lead generation is going after MLS or properties that are on MLS that are bank owned. And we understand that a lot of you guys might not have the capital necessary to buy these properties yourself, then go ahead and sell or wholesale this deal, because that's not really what this program is about. It's about not having to buy anything but controlling it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to sprinkle in or integrate a hard money loan in order to facilitate this transaction and do what's called a double close, where you use what's called transactional funding or one day dough in order to buy the property from the bank and then go ahead and turn around the next day, or sometimes as little as a few hours, turn around and sell it to that end investor that you seeked out or they seeked you out after marketing this deal. And they're the ones that are going to use the funds, they're the ones that are going to use their funds. But we need to get we need to be able to buy these properties, and unfortunately you're not going to be able to assign an REO property. So I want to go through here real quickly. Again, I'm not going to spend 30 minutes on how to write this up. If you want to watch the video on me going through every paragraph of this contract, then you need to watch the 30-minute video on writing up an all cash offer. Okay, but I'm going to spend the next probably 10 minutes and go over how I'm going to write this up. So the parties, let me change this because it wouldn't be Tim and Jennifer. That is wrong. What it's going to be is Federal National Mortgage Company. You're going to find out, once you call the real estate agent, once you go look at the property and you like what you see and you make a lowball offer. And again, if you're not embarrassed with your offer, you're probably offering too much. And it's a numbers game. You guys know that. You're not going to win on every one. Talk to any wholesaler. They're probably getting turned down 90% of the time. But in order for you guys to be successful, this is one lead source. You've got a captive audience. And so we definitely want you to go after these types of properties. But you need to understand, you need to write a lot of these offers. So you need to get good at doing this. All right. And so it doesn't take you an hour to draw up these offers. Okay, so number one, it's the seller is going to be a bank. Then you put your name or your LLC name. Some of you guys have DBAs, some of you have LLCs, some of you haven't set up a business yet, but you certainly at least should have a DBA, and you can show that the DBA is the key ingredient. Is the lender wants to make sure the buyer is qualified, and I'll go over that here at the end. But essentially, you're going to have a qualification letter from a hard money lender because you've already met with a hard money lender. You know exactly what they want, and we're going to have a video on at least one hard money lender that we're going to sit down next week, and we're going to post that to the site. And just he's going to walk you through, or they're going to walk you through exactly what they need and how to structure these deals for them to loan you money for 1, 2, 3 days, because that's really all you need the money for. So then you have the property. So we put in the lot block, the subdivision. Again, I'm not going to go through this line by line. You come down here, and that's where you put the cash portion. I want them to know, look, we've got financing already built in. It's going to be cash. There isn't any qualifications necessary, and you're going to provide them with a letter that states that, okay? That the letter, hey, the DBA or George Roddy is good to go. We've got the funds and we're ready to close on this transaction. So essentially, you need to write in $140,000 is cash. The sales price is $140,000. Then on the financing, we don't need a third party financing addendum because we don't need to be qualified for this loan. We're already qualified. Our money is good. It's in the bank. We're ready to close. You come down here in earnest money. Here's the big thing, the difference between writing up an offer with an individual and writing an offer to a bank is you've got to put up earnest money. Now, I know a lot of you guys, might be scared about this, but your earnest money is fully refundable. So as long as you find that end buyer and they need to match whatever you put up as far as earnest money. So if you put up 4,200, and the key thing is, how did I come up with 4,200? I want to show, whenever I write an offer to a bank, and I'm the end investor or a wholesaler, I want to show them that we're serious. And I don't know if I mentioned this in another video, but the earnest money basically shows how serious you are in this endeavor, or writing up this offer. So I typically will write in at least 3% as earnest money. And then where are you going to close? This is when you put in the banks or the REO title company. See, what we found is most REO companies, not most, everyone that I've done a transaction with, they require that you close at their title company. So we need to find out from the agent what title company we need to deliver the earnest money to. And that's it on page 1. Obviously, you're going to initial. And then on page 2, the title policy, again, it's the REO. The good news is the bank will pay for a title policy. So if you close at their title company, they will pay for a title policy. Come down here, you're not going to get a survey from the lender, so don't even ask for it. Go ahead and put in that within 15 days or 10 days after the effective date, the buyer shall obtain a new survey. And the hard money lender most likely will require that because they want to make sure that there isn't any setbacks or things on the title policy or the survey that would cloud or encumber this property. So they're going to probably most likely require that. You might just kind of key in on this. It might be 7 days. I would put in 15 days. You want to make this where the bank likes what they see. So don't put in 30 days or 45. 15 days is more than enough time to get a survey. That's it on page 2. Page 3, is the property in a homeowners association or not? Yes or no. You'll check the box. Come down here. That's it on page 3. Page 4. Here's the big thing. Seller's disclosure notice. I mentioned this in another video. Banks are not required to furnish a seller's disclosure notice. So it's important that we know what the condition is. Obviously, the end buyer is probably going to want to do some due diligence, get some inspectors out there, and just convey to them that a seller's disclosure notice is not going to be provided. Another thing that I put in is we always check buyer accepts the property in its present condition. Just kind of solidifies that we understand the bank's not in the business of rehabbing these houses. Come down, that's it on, well, the last thing is don't put in 30 days, but you'll put in a date. You see how I wrote 30 days, but today is the 3rd of August. You might put in, heck, August 31st. I mean, banks like to see that you're willing and able to close quickly. That's what motivates them. If they're ready to sell, they want to close quickly. So don't put in a closing date more than 30 days if you want to get more offers accepted. Sure, you can put in 6 months or 45 days, but if you want to get more offers and put your best foot forward, you need to put in 30 days or less and write it in. That's it for page 4. Page 5, when are we going to take possession? It's upon closing and funding. Special provisions, if you are a licensed agent, you need to disclose that. Come down here, we're not going to ask the bank to pay for any of our closing costs. That's it on page 5. Page 6, I'm scrolling down, nothing. On 16, sometimes the banks don't want to mediate, so again, you might ask the broker that's representing the bank if they require that, or will they or will they not mediate. Most lenders, you check will, and that they won't balk at that. All a mediator does is if a problem arises, you guys agree to go to a mediation instead of suing each other first. That's it on page 6. Page 7 is you just put in the listing agent's address, usually your address, phone number, fax, email, the same with them. This is who represents the bank, and this is you. Then scroll down, and addendum for property subject to mandatory membership. Is it if it is in a mandatory HOA, then you need to check this. We don't need to check third-party financing or any of these. We might need to check the seller's disclosure notice if the house is built prior to 1978. And then the big thing is lender addendums. Um, I probably 99% chance the lender is going to have their own package or packet of addendums that they want you to fill out. So in addition to this contract, one of the questions that I ask the agent is what other addendums do I need to fill out in order to give you a complete offer? It's important that you do that because if you just write the offer, I got an offer today on one of my listings. It's a short sale, and all the guy did was he just he basically put in what he was willing to pay, and he gave me a line of credit or a bank statement, and it wasn't even a bank statement. It's something I could have created on my computer, and I just kind of laughed like, buddy, if you want me to take your offer seriously, write the offer up, and then get me something that you didn't create on your own computer. You got to be professional about this, and I'm not trying to put anyone down, but I can't take someone seriously. And I used to represent 4 banks, and I got 40 offers a week, and some people would take the time and fill out all the addendums and submit an offer and show me that they had proof of funds. And then some would just write it on a back of a napkin, and those deals never saw the light of day. So if you do it right, you're going to put yourself in a position to get accepted more often. I'm not going to say that every 10 offers you write you're going to get. I mean, I write a lot of offers on REOs, and I would say 90% of them get rejected. Well, I would say probably 96, 97% of the offers I make on REO properties get rejected. But you know what? It's that 3 to 4% that's going to make me $5 to $7 to $10,000 for wholesaling. All right, and that's the key. Someone once told me that, George, you're going to fail 95% of the time in this business, but you can still make 6 figures, and that's what motivates me as a wholesaler. The last thing is the termination option. You got to key in on that, and this is a question that I ask the agent, is what is the policy of the bank? A lot of times they don't want me to put anything in on paragraph 23. Well, as a wholesaler, you've got to have some protection to be able to get out of this deal. And I have written offers where the agent told me there is no option period. George, once we accept your offer, that's it. We want you to close. Obviously, if that's the case, you guys can't do this deal. You need to, you need to say some pleasantries to the listing agent, or you need to say goodbye, thank them for their time. You need to move on to the next deal because you need 7 to 10 days to shop this deal. And I want you to understand, I want you to listen real closely. If it's a good deal, it will not take long for you to find that end investor. But if it's a so-so deal, and if it's not a deal, if it's more of a dud, then you won't be able to find that investor, and you will have to terminate this contract with the bank. At the bottom, that's where I would sign, and obviously the representative of Fannie Mae would sign, and that's really it. We'll go through a couple other addendums on the back page. You're going to have the broker information. If there is, obviously there's a listing agent involved, and then you've got an option fee. Again, ask the agent and make sure, because sometimes in the addendums that you have to fill out, it will stipulate you have a 7 or 10 day option period. Now the big thing is the difference between a bank owned and an individual as a seller is a lot of these homes don't have the utilities turned on. So keep that in mind. uh, when the end investor, I would disclose that to my end buyer, end investor, and say the utilities aren't on. Are you comfortable with buying the property without the utilities on? We might be able to turn the water on at the street and check and do a fresh water and sewer test, but as far as which light bulbs, how's the electricity in the house, it's sometimes you're not going to have time to get the utilities turned on because you have a short fuse for an option period. So just something to think about. Here's where the earnest money will go, and that's it. So structuring an offer to an REO, the key ingredient is do not start writing offers to REOs unless you've already sat down with a good hard money lender and you know exactly what their requirements are, and you're going to get that letter from them, that proof of funds letter, that you're good to go. Okay? Stay tuned. We've got some other, I'm going to go over a couple other addendums on how to get out of these deals. So stay tuned for the next video.